Hello and welcome to another AIC Productions video. Today I'm working on my 2003 Alero and I am replacing the suspension. The car has about 104,000 miles on it. It's a 2003 and the shocks are original factory shocks, or I should say struts. So they're pretty worn out. And when I was looking around, sorry I'm getting over a cold so I'm a little sniffly. When I was looking around for replacement struts, I came across these. These are Detroit Axle brand complete units. So they're a top hat, at least I call that a top hat, I don't know if that's the official name, a spring, dust boot, and the strut. And I was looking at it, and the reason why I bought these for a few reasons. Number one, the cost. This only cost, I got the full set, all four, so there's the other front and the two rears are in that box still. It was about $240, $250. And to get just the struts was, I think, about $45 per strut, or about $90 per axle. My dust covers are shot, so I probably need to replace those. And with how many miles and how old it is, I was going to replace this as well. And the dust cover is about $7 or $8 a corner. The top hat's about $10 to $15 a corner, depending on where you buy it and all that. And because it's all one assembled unit, I don't have to deal with compressing the spring. So this is going to save me a ton of time, a ton of energy. And so, I'll probably knock out all four corners in an hour or two, whereas it would take me all day just because compressing springs takes a ton of time. So I'm going to go ahead and install. I'll do a follow-up section. I've never bought a Detroit Axle product before. Bought these on Amazon. I'll throw them in the description. But I'm definitely hoping it improves the ride, because these shocks are they're just done. There's nothing left of them. I took my son camping this weekend, developed campground, but the last 200 feet to the campsite or whatever was dirt, and it felt like we were riding on a trampoline. We were just bouncing like crazy because there was no the struts weren't absorbing any of the rebound. So anyways, hoping to get these done. I've been at it. I got the front wheels off. I got them completely unbolted, and it's taken me 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if that, to get all that done. And it'll probably be another 20-30 minutes to get everything bolted back up and torqued into place and good to go. So again, I'll follow up once I'm done with doing both axles. So looking forward to seeing how it rides with the Detroit Axle brand struts. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes from my last video. Passenger side is done. Driver's side is now out, and this is the replacement driver's side. Just want to show the difference between the two. That's the old worn out one. It actually doesn't look too bad. It just, has no more gas or whatever in it, so it doesn't do its job. There's a new one. All nice and pretty. And the tools that I need to pull it out, so far you need 3 tools. This is a 21 millimeter to get off the bolts that hold the it down low, and a 13 and a 12 millimeter to get the bolts on top. Actually, 13 is just for the ones you're taking off. The new ones, 2 of them are 13, one of them is a 12. So, and then a hammer to tap out the bolts, because they are press fit here. So you have to tap them out just a little bit to get them out. So normally, so that's what, 3 tools total to get them out, other than the lug wrench to get the lug nuts off and the jack stands. But normally have to have spring compressors. You have to have something to compress the springs with. You have to have something to get the top hat off with, so you need more sockets, not sockets, but wrenches for that, and socket. So, you know, you're cutting down, even just the number of tools you're using, you're cutting down significantly. So, they're the same. The part numbers between the two are the same, so it doesn't matter which side they go on. But yeah, so far so good. Nice easy job. Spring rate's a little bit different between the two. You probably see that a little bit, and so hoping for a better ride. So we'll keep going, and I'll tell you how the rear goes. Alright, so I'm on the disassembly process, and just going to give you an update. This is for the rear. These are 18 millimeter, the front, or 21. So these are 18, so that's a little bit different. So far, coming here, is in the trunk. I got this off on both sides already. This was 13 millimeters. These you have to actually get up from the bottom, and I want to say that they're probably 13 millimeter as well. That's what they look like just looking up at them. So I'm gonna grab my 13 millimeter and remove those from both sides. All right, and we are all done. Everything's tightened up, torqued into place. Both sides and the rear are done. The front has been done, and putting the wheels and tires back on. The back did take longer than the front, which was to be expected. The main reason for that is in the front, when you put it in place, at least I have long enough arms, and I'm not that tall or big, so most people would have tall enough arms to hold this in place with one hand, and with the other hand reach above and tighten one bolt into place. Then that holds this in place while you tighten everything else in. This in the rear, my arms are not long enough to do that, and so usually what I do is I have a second jack that I use to hold it up. But just as I was getting the jack out, my wife came out to talk to me, so I made her I held it up and she screwed the bolts into place because she came out right at the right time to help me with that. So yeah, if you're looking to do replacement struts, and a strut is a spring and shock assembly all in one unit, I highly recommend getting an all-in-one, already shipped, already together. There's a bunch of different brands. I just picked this brand because it had good reviews on Amazon and was one of the more inexpensive ones. I think there was one cheaper, but it didn't have very good reviews, so got the one with better reviews. Cost a little bit more money, but I think I'll be happier with them according to the reviews. Anyways, but yeah, I think I've been out here a total of maybe 2 hours, maybe, and that includes me stopping to talk to the wife a few times. That includes me stopping to get water because I'm in Arizona and it's 90 degrees today. You know, so that you know, that's from start, you know, wheels on the ground to wheels being back on the ground, about 2 hours to do, which, you know, this normally takes at least twice as long, if not 3 times as long, just because of dealing with the stinking springs, compressing them and getting them off. And when you're doing front and rear, that's 4 sets of springs that you have to compress, and unless you have some sort of like a wall press or you know, a standing press, all I have are just the clamps that clamp on either side, and you've seen those in other videos I've done, and those are a pain. I really don't like using those, and they're probably the best as far as compressing springs, as far as like a DIY home person can have reasonably. So yeah, I mean, I highly recommend this. I've never bought them before, but by the time I priced them out, 100% worth the money to buy a complete unit. And then the old ones I'm just gonna give to a scrap person. We have them come through the neighborhood sometimes, so I'll just put a sign on it that says for free, and they'll just disappear. When I upgraded the axle on my Cherokee XJ, that's what I did, is I just put a sign on the old broken axle. I said free, and it was gone within a couple hours. So especially on a Saturday, it's a good thing to do, because they'll roll through the neighborhood and pick up all the scrap stuff that you have. Anyways, if you have any questions about these springs, I'm going to drive around, probably going to put a few 100 miles on them before I give a good review on them. I'm going to drive with my old tires, because I still have my old tires And then I'm going to just make sure my alignment's good and then put my new tires on. And I'll review them with both, with the old tires and with the new tires, so I can give you a good idea, because I don't want to put new shocks on and new tires on at the same time, because I don't want the new tires to influence how I think about the new shocks. So but I also don't want the new shocks to influence how I feel about the new tires, so I'm going to drive it with both. Anyways, again, any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer those, and have a great day.